Our guests on this segment are Amy Lee and Stacey Howeth with the Oklahoma Council on Economic Education. Welcome to both of you. And what in the world is it?
Yes, so the Oklahoma Council on Economic Education, we're a nonprofit in the state of Oklahoma that focuses on personal finance and economic education and improving that in the K through 12 space. So we provide training to teachers to help teach those subjects, personal finance and economics, and we provide student programming and other resources to help make that stronger in Oklahoma.
You know, as you say that, so many red flags are flying. How do you get the attention of teachers? What would cause a teacher to listen to you? And let's just start with those two, either one of you.
Very good. Yes.
Yeah.
So teachers, there is a requirement for high school students to graduate with 14 points of personal finance. So it is happening in our state. It is not currently a required course, so that does present some challenges. But students do have to graduate with 14 points of personal finance. So teachers, it's a tough 14 standards to teach, and so we provide professional development to help make learning about personal finance fun and engaging. And then the same thing with economics. Economics falls in every discipline, whether it's science, math, social studies, and so there's economic concepts that are brought out of all of those disciplines, and we help provide professional development to make that happen. And so teachers are looking for those resources, and we do try and entice them to come by having fun and engaging activities and opportunities to do that.
How is this operation financed?
Sure. So it is financed through. Well, we have some contracts with the State Department of Education, and then we also have fundraising efforts, which is primarily the financial backing of the council. So we are constantly looking for businesses, organizations, individuals, grants, opportunities to help fund the programs that we do throughout the state. So it is truly a volunteer organization, and again, we're always looking for more people to get involved and help fund the projects that we do.
Strikes me that you guys are negotiating a political minefield, and rather than drag you into the dirt where I live, let me just say for the record, I'm under the impression that there are those in Oklahoma City who would like to see public education done away with. Do you work with public as well as private education? How does this operate?
We work with anybody who's teaching. So if you are a teacher, we are working with anybody who's trying to teach. So we do focus on the K through 12 space as far as age level, but we work with public, private. We work with homeschool educators, anybody who is teaching young people how to teach personal finance. That's who, and economics, that's who we want to work with.
I need something to hang my hat on here when we talk about what you teach. Are you saying how to balance a checkbook? Is that part of it?
That's a piece of it, but a lot of the programs, some of my favorite programs, are when we get to interact directly with the students. Programs like the Meaningful Economics and Entrepreneurship Competitions, which we just had one recently in Tulsa. What that is a hands-on experience for students to learn about key concepts, things that they may not have ever heard in life that are really important, things that they need to learn now that they will take throughout their life. Students have a chance to learn throughout the day, and then at the end of the day, they actually create a product or a service to address a social need that we present them with. It's a fictitious problem in society. So they come up with the concept themselves, and then they create a poster and a 30-second commercial that they give a pitch to a set of judges. So it's not just the economic education and the financial literacy side of things. There's also personal growth, leadership development, public speaking. It's a multitude of options that students can grasp and hopefully learn all in one day with just one interaction that we have with
You're
them.
kidding me.
It's
In
pretty
one
neat.
day.
Yep.
Yes, we're actually able to show a 17% knowledge gain in basic personal finance and economic skills with the students that attend that particular competition. We're really proud of that. We work hard to really bring a lot of interactive and engaging learning into all of the programs that we do, and that's definitely displayed in the Meaningful Economics and Entrepreneurship competition.
Well, somebody had to be walking along whistling one day down the sidewalk, and they said, we need to form an organization to help students understand economic responsibility on a higher level. Who did that?
So the Council on Economic Education has been around for 65 years, so it's been around for a long time, and it was started by business individuals who said we need this to happen in our state. We need our students to understand economics to be able to make smart decisions as voters, borrowers, savers, and so they got together and made a Council on Economic Education in the state of Oklahoma, and so that's and we're still doing lots of great things.
You know, when I was in the 4th grade, I recall my big interest was lunch hour.
Mine too.
At what age level do you try to plug in for it to be effective?
All ages.
As soon as possible.
Yes.
There are, as for the little bitty ones, within the state, there are books that either parents can read with their children, that they can check out of libraries. We encourage elementary education teachers to read some of these books that may not be just about economic education or financial literacy concepts, but woven within that story are ideas of economics and spending versus saving, and those, balancing your financial needs throughout your life. So we like to weave those in as early as possible, and then, like Amy said, all the way up through high school. And then also concentrating on making sure the teachers have what they need, because their reach is so big throughout the state. You have some numbers on influencing one teacher and providing those resources can impact as many as how many students just through that one teacher.
On average, it's about 75 students a year, and so once teachers are trained and have the skills and tools to be able to teach and inspire a student to learn personal finance and economics, that really is a multiplier effect. So that's why we really want to focus on the teacher and helping them feel empowered to teach those subjects. And they're pretty intimidating, both economics and personal finance, especially when it comes to personal finance. Just the way that we operate our personal finances, even just 5 years ago and 10 years ago, is entirely different than it is right now. And so that's something that's always changing. And so that's important that we make sure that our teachers feel like they're confident and prepared to be able to teach that subject.
Well, you ladies are too nice to say anything like this. I'm not a lady. So let me just say for you, but not endorsed by you necessarily, that you have to look at some politicians sometimes and go, how in the world did they get elected without supporting an organization such as this, without getting behind it? Because the Oklahoma way seems to be, well, I just know we had 3 cows and we had another that's 4. Whoa, hold it. And yet we have this influx of young, bright talent coming out of our colleges and our universities, and these kids are hitting the street. I mean, they got a mean streak going because they're ready, let's play ball. The other side of the coin is you've got to look at Sesame Street as a partner. Today we're going to look at the number 6. Where does it start? Now this is beginning to gel with me, because it means if you can start with a youngster that young, you've got them. I mean, you're in the classroom without their even knowing it.
Yes.
Golly, that's amazing.
One of my favorite economic cons just early on in a young child's life is just teaching about, we're not going to eat all the cookies today. We're going to save some for tomorrow. If we eat them all now, we won't be able to enjoy them later. So it starts as young as 2 and 3 years of age where they're really learning those kind of concepts.
And one thing that is changing, hopefully we're having an impact on this, is talking about finances early. There's such a stigma around talking about personal finance and money in general. In a general conversation, that's one of the topics that you typically stay away from. But that's something that we have to talk about, and from an early age. If people have questions, they should ask them. They shouldn't be afraid to ask them. So that's also part of what we're doing, is just removing that stigma in the classroom and in general conversation, because we can always learn something new,
Certainly.
no matter how old you are.
We got about a minute and a half, but it seems to me as though, in addition to teaching economics and the basics and the rudimentary rules of economics, you've also got to be pouring some social chemistry in there, because children don't understand why down the street Bobby's mom and dad don't have enough food, and they don't have the money to buy it, and they have to ask for assistance. So in you come. You've got to have answers to those questions as well, don't you?
Yes, that's important, and especially as we went through the pandemic, and there was lots of different just teachers in the classroom are having a tough time answering some of those questions when they're trying to teach them how to save, but students in their classroom are saying, we don't have money to save. And so those understanding what's going on in their community is really important, different kids around them, and that's an important conversation to have as well.
So if the kids understand what's happening with Bobby down the street, things are a little bit smoother, maybe less gunfire. Hey, thank you both for taking time to come visit. We really are grateful to you. And to be real honest with you, I didn't know anything. I didn't know you existed until you came on, and really, really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much. We're
Thanks
so
for
glad.
coming
Thanks for
by,
having
both
us.
of you. We're all out of time. Thanks for being a part of it. We'll see you again next week.